clearly you submitted it, but I don't know if Evan bullied you. But do you think French lessons would fit in with like, I mean, we're kind of doing the highbrow, lowbrow thing over here too.
You want to know my theory now after talking to them is you put the thing before my movie because it's the same it's the same ballpark. We're playing in the same sandbox. You incestuous
bastard! Look at you. You're like, hey, yeah. And then Evan's next idea will be that Utopia distributes his movie.
The search of the 3 missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County.
And I got to play with your wand. It was great.
Yeah, you did.
Definitely fun.
Keep going.
Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Footage Foreplay. How y'all doing today?
Pretty good. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're here with Stupid Co. What is that? What is that? Explain that. What is Stupid Co?
Oh.
We got to get a bit more stupid, you know? We got to embrace the stupidity. Stupid.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, just not taking it all too seriously. I think the whole idea is to be more creative and to let ourselves just create without worrying too much about where it's meant to go or who it's meant to be seen by or optics or any of that stuff. It was sort of born out of that ethos.
Love it. Stupid Co.
People just need to get stupider.
Okay. So
stupid
Kyle
is as stupid
and
does.
Anna, right?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, well tell us about you guys and what you guys do, where'd you get your start and all that good stuff for the listeners.
So
are y'all a couple?
We are.
We are, yeah.
Okay, y'all married. Where are the rings?
We are actually not wearing them today.
Oh, okay.
Joking.
Russell, do you got yours on? Can we get a ring check?
Dude, always. And you know who never does? My wife.
Oksana, yeah.
So when she comes in here, let's go. Yeah, for the next recording, remind me to call her out on that.
Yeah, we're a couple. We make movies together, Anna and I also, like do our own kind of solo practices. So I'm a film distributor, and as an educator and an artist and filmmaker, and we started making some stuff together a couple of years ago, or a few years ago now.
Time flies when you're having fun.
And yeah, Stupid Co. basically is kind of our, a representation of, I guess, like our artistic output, our artistic label, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because I've been making a whole bunch of work previously. I've made shorts. I'm actually making my first feature at the moment. But I've been making a whole bunch of shorts, some funded, some not funded, just really trying to figure it out as one does in this world, trying to make things. And I sort of hit a bit of a wall. I was just feeling like not quite sure which way to turn creatively. And like, I just didn't feel like I didn't have any money really to make anything. And I just didn't know, sort of, applying for things. And then Kyle and I decided to start making our own work. Sort of kind of a bit out of that. We were like, wouldn't it be nice just to like make things with your friends again? Like when we were all at school and you just hang out with a bunch of people and bring a camera and fuck around. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but fuck around for a couple of hours.
I cuss all the time.
Good.
You don't want to get a British person started, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be careful.
Are you British, girl? Are you from the Britain? Where you
she
from?
She can teach us how to
from
swear.
London. Yeah.
You're from London? Oh, I like it. You got tea, right? Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah.
Tea and crumpets?
It's tea time.
Tea time.
Oh, okay. Love it.
Not go wrong with a crumpet.
Okay.
But yeah, so we basically just sort of, our first short, How You're Currently Being Recorded, was based on we just went for a walk in a neighborhood we were staying in LA, and we kept getting accosted by we were just walking around and we kept getting told that we were being recorded. We were like, what the hell is that? This is insane.
Yeah, because a lot of people have Ring cameras these days, and there's a function you can turn on your Ring camera where it literally says to you, hi, you are currently being recorded.
And so we kind of, it was quite, and we were just sort of walking around and we sort of thought, oh, God, this is really dystopian.
Thinking about all of the footage other people have of us walking through their basically like yards at this point.
And just this sense of a complete erosion of trust in the world, that it's this sense that we're we're always afraid of someone else, rather than just sort of, the assumption is always that someone is bad, someone is coming to get you, someone is trying to hurt you. And I think that it's like the perspective shift that our world has been slowly falling into, but I think we're living in a paradigm of fear right now. And I think the film was a kind of way to sort of go, right, maybe we can shift that. But it is really sort of leaning into that. A woman goes out for a walk and she's smoking a joint and ends up having a kind of she gets very paranoid about this, because of course it can just really get into your brain, that sense of just always feeling watched, always feeling, So that was sort of our first piece, and we just made it with a couple of friends, and we just walked around the neighborhood one day and did it for no money, and edited it together, and just made something for fun. God forbid. And then we had so much fun that we did it again the year after with our same friends, Matty and Christina, and made another film, French Lessons, that was sort of a bit more comedic, about a film distributor and an independent filmmaker meeting up to practice French ahead of going to the Cannes Film Festival. But their French is really, really bad. And it becomes a kind of strange, I guess, like a dance around between the artistry and the industry and the film industry, and sort of who has money, who has the accommodation, who has the sort of hookups, and then the people sort of making the work often not having anywhere to stay. So the sort of paradox of those things. So yeah, I guess we're having fun and have some thoughts on some things, and like leave it up to other people to sort of perceive what those things are too, and how they perceive them, because obviously once you make something, it leaves your jurisdiction.
So hold on, let me jump in here, Evan. Again, this is the first time Terrell and I are meeting you two, but for anybody listening, we did show how you were currently being recorded at UFF 24 Hour 25, and it's always interesting whenever Evan brings in a short, because he's the one that brought it up. And I always end up having a conversation with him about, does it qualify? Now, I know to most people, the whole Unnamed Footage Festival, like, again, for anybody who doesn't know, we do a film fest and it's all in-world camera. That's our descriptor to kind of classify everything from the Blair Witch Project to Spinal Tap. So like anything where the film is a part of the creation of the movie, like the camera's in the movie. And it always is interesting when a film like yours finds its way to us, because I'm curious, is that almost like a shot that like a found footage horror group like wanted to bring in your movie? Like, is that lowbrow for you?
No, not at all, actually, because to me it feels very much like a found footage horror. I mean, it was a horror film. It's a psychological horror. Mm-hmm. It's a horror where nothing happens, which for me is often the scariest kind of horror, because it is the horror that we live in our fears are more terrifying than anything, really.
Yeah. The ironic, interesting thing about it is we obviously had a few big ideas when we were going in to make it. And part of that was, one of the central ideas was utilizing the multiple formats to give, I guess you could say, that found component. Well,
because it is found footage, the idea of the footage being found of the Ring cameras.
Yeah.
In the sense of, yeah.
Well, I think like what I was getting to is, in a way, at one point, you see something so much. So for us, we were like, this is hilarious at a certain point. And then when we started finally bringing it out to audiences, see how actually uncomfortable and paranoid the film has made so many people. So I think it's really connected in that, like, in that real world way. But for us, we know so many people who have these cameras and they have them inside their house too. So I think the ending of the film is, very much kind of playing further into, a subtle fear of like, who is, like still watching.
I'm old. I don't know if y'all can tell, but back in the day, there was a time.
We can tell.
Is it that obvious now? Dude, back in the day, I remember you would go to like pre Best Buy, whatever, FYE or something, or Target. Mm. And you would walk down an aisle where they were selling cameras, and this would be like the one time that you would see yourself on a screen. I remember how dude, it would be so horrifying. because now, I mean, it's everywhere and social media, and you get tagged in pictures that you would never have shared all the time. But back then, it was almost like another reality. And I think, everybody's kind of comfortable. Like, we're all living in like the Big Brother thing, and we just ignore it. It's like reality TV. Eventually, you just stop paying attention. But your film kind of like refocused on, hey, like, that is there. Like, you are being recorded. And God forbid you ever try to do anything with your life and somebody drums up their Ring doorbell camera of you smoking a joint on the street. That could ruin your little mayoral run or something.
Well, I think that's a really interesting thing, to bring up. I think the sort of the sense of making mistakes as a human being, right? Like we're humans, we make mistakes and we grow. We hopefully that's the point, right? And we can't know everything, and we're all products of where we're brought up and how we're brought up and what education we're exposed to. And I think, the flip side of everything being more accessible in that way is that I do feel like younger people are so much more switched on nowadays to things going on in the world that aren't just immediately sort of at their doorstep, which I think is amazing. But then on the other side, this sense of being unable to make mistakes because this sense of feeling like you're always being judged and therefore judging yourself. And then it gets to a point where you stop, you sort of self-censor even before that thing could happen. So I don't know, we're in an interest, in a way though, I feel like that's shifting. I feel like this next generation is sort of shifting away from that. I think we were a bit more sort of our generation. I mean, I'm an elder millennial probably.
Yeah,
I don't
too.
know. Yeah, I feel like there was a real sort of finger pointing. I think we were sort of the beginning of all that as well. But now I think things are shifting, and I think humans are becoming more conscious of each other's and each other's struggles, and actually trying to come together to sort of combat because actually we're in a world now where it's so easy to become atomized and sort of separate from each other, but actually. And I think that recording those kind of things, those are the things that it can do both, right? They're kind of these interesting, they have the power to do both. And we actually need to use all these things to come together rather than to separate ourselves further apart. So I think in a way that was the point of the film, was to sort of to accentuate this sense of the paranoia, the fear, not because we're like, oh, this is good, but because actually we're like, what are we doing? What are we doing to each other? Why are we doing this to each other? How do we figure out how to come together? Because that's the only way we're going to change anything. We have to come together.
You just got to get off the phone.
That's kind of central to everything I think we're trying to do at Stupid Co, actually, which is like bringing people together, making films with our friends. Found footage is interesting.
So democratic.
It's interesting in discussion to our work, but we have a third project which we haven't announced yet, which I think for people who are questioning how it relates in high and in French lessons, we'll see the third project as something more like traditional in the found footage format, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, I can't wait to share it with you.
Really, Evan and I have talked about it a bit, and I'm really stoked for you guys to see it.
Is that the feature that you mentioned earlier, Anna, that you guys are working on?
Well, that's a different feature. I'm actually working on a different feature. I'm working on my own feature right now that is sort of something I've written, and it's a long process because we don't have a lot of money, so we're shooting it sort of in different stages as we go.
Yeah.
But no, this one is a feature length film that Kyle and I made, and we're just finishing the edit right now. But it's sort of about we can first to know.
We can give you guys.
She likes sneak peeks.
I love those scoops
about natural wine and the apocalypse. And it's sort of, again, we're both of us are very.
Is this a comedy?
Bit comedy tragedy, comedy horror, kind of a bit like that.
Nice, love it.
Funny and scary because
that's different from what y'all bringing together with what he just said, Mr. Kyle.
That's the one that we're working on together. That's our stupid
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be the third film
in that series
to follow.
Got it. Okay, got you.
Yeah. So we're interested in sort of the sort of I don't know. I've been an actor since I was 8 years old, and I'm very interested.
Okay.
And
that's how I first was exposed to you. Actually, was through the movie Violation. That's where I first saw you. You're great in that. Have you seen that, Terrell?
Thank you.
It's like a rape revenge. It's
rape
different.
Revenge. You got raped.
It's almost weird.
Oh no!
It's almost weird to put that movie in that category because it feels so defiantly like different than the other movies that are rape revenge movies, but it is that still. So no, it's great. I love that movie.
And Dusty, amazing
Oh,
collaboration.
that was on Shudder, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
Madeline's actually in my film that I'm making right now as well. So we'll keep it in the fact again. This nature of document, like, again, what's fact, what's fiction. I'm really interested in this space of like faction almost, like because this idea of what is fact and what is fiction is so amorphous actually. And I think Kyle and I in all our films play Kyle and Anna, but they're kind of versions of us because one is always a version of oneself in any kind of situation you put yourself in. So I don't know, it's like thinking a lot about Meisner's truth under imaginary circumstances, but that's also a document. It's a documentary. I don't know. These are the things that I'm thinking a lot about at the moment in terms of, and then found footage, I think, really ties into those kind of that kind of nature because it's like it's aping reality, but what is non-reality? What is reality? And then you sort of get a whole, hall of mirrors there. But yeah.
Well, and you guys talked about, I think Anna, you specifically mentioned that you guys did the found footage stuff. Anytime it cuts to this camera, it sort of represents, and I had this in my notes from watching the shorts again before we recorded, that anytime you go to found footage, it sort of represents this looming threat. So that for context, for anybody who hasn't seen them, these are like hybrid found footage movies. So the only time that you go to found footage is through these Ring security cameras like they were talking about and stuff, and how you're currently being recorded. Or in French Lessons, it's like sort of a voyeuristic, like maybe somebody across the street is watching them. And my theory is it's whoever is obviously watching them in the first short, it's the same person. So, but it's cool how even in the comedic one, French Lessons, the camera still feels like anytime you cut to found footage, it sort of is that pure distilled, like something's bad is going to happen. This person is watching with bad intent. Isn't
that interesting that that's how we feel? It's very interesting to think how those things can make us feel, like this sense of a disembodied watcher or something from afar, or the sense of there's something uncanny and very human about it. I think it's like your sort of like spidey senses come up, the sense of being perceived. And I think that's like, we've had a few different sort of reviews and somebody was like, I also hate to be perceived. So I get it.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a level of obviously also not wanting to, like, I don't know, over explain as well, right? Like I think with French Lessons, it's a interesting experience seeing that one come out and hit different audiences on the heels of High, because in a way they're both totally standalone, but they both play off of each other, both films, and they lead into this third project we alluded to. So, I think there were a lot of people who saw French Lessons or are seeing it. And every now and then I'll see a comment about like, what's the deal with the CCTV style shit? My
favorite response to that was somebody saying it was the Duolingo owl.
Yeah. Somebody thinks
it's to murder them.
The Duolingo owl waiting to murder them. Exactly. So yeah, I think there's that interpretation like you had, Evan, that is really interesting and exciting to hear.
So you know what? I mean, I don't think we've ever done this before, but when French Lessons came in, I watched it and I hadn't realized it was your film. And immediately I was like, I don't know if we can show this, because I'm like, the one issue we're having this year for programming is just the question of like qualifying. We're getting a bunch of great stuff, but we've got a lot, including Evan's movie. So just to be fair, I am the hard ass here. And even though I helped edit Evan's movie, I'm like, you need to prepare a like argument of why this works. And it goes back to what you were saying about documentary, where even if you look at a documentary film academically, there's still it's all manipulation.
Of course.
So everything, you're trying to lead a viewer, and you can obscure things or like highlight other things, and then you're making a propaganda film. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean you're trying to change somebody's opinion. But
spot on.
With Evans, it's like, I don't know if this quality, because it's very personal and he's playing a version of himself and he's interviewing a lot of his real family. And I'm like, oh man, this is more like an Errol Morris movie than a Blair Witch adventure. And with French lessons, it felt almost like whenever we get like this kind of vibe from a like highbrow, lowbrow kind of hybrid film, I always refer to them like my shorthand is it's very Adult Swim, like where there's some like heady stuff going on, but like it's played for like comedy, and a lot of it leaves the audience like questioning like why is there a third cameraman person or something, like what is that? And usually those narratives aren't interested in answering, which I don't need. But I was like, the problem we have now is that DSLRs and like an open color grade is like flooding everywhere. So now people, in an effort to make their film have a little bit more texture or stand out, they break into VHS, or we get a lot of glitch effects, or so a lot of it could just be an aesthetic choice. Yeah. So I'm curious. Do you think you're well, clearly you submitted it, but I don't know if Evan bullied you. But do you think French lessons would fit in with like? I mean, we're kind of doing the highbrow, lowbrow thing over here too.
You want to know my theory now after talking to them is you put the thing before my movie because it's the same like it's the same ballpark. We're playing in the same sandbox.
You incestuous bastard! Yeah. Look at you. You're like, hey, yeah. And then Evan's next idea will be that Utopia distributes his movie.
Yeah, I was just watching the Florida Man teaser before this, and I'm really stoked to see it, man.
Thanks, dude. You're part of a small group because Russell consistently just gives me shit about it.
Kyle, I mean this. Let me give you the best compliment this movie will ever have. Terrell, did you like Evan's movie?
I liked it.
Take it back. You just blew that deal for him.
That's crazy. I mean, that's the response I'm expecting to this third project Anna and I are making, where I think you can't really play with found footage and expect it to be for everybody as well.
And also
nothing should be for everybody, really. Like,
and also this notion of like what cinema is. Again, so what you're saying about documentary and what is like awards worthy cinema? What is good? Yeah. What is a good film? More and more, I'm like, those distinctions feel. I'm less and less interested in traditional cinematic storytelling, just because I watch it and I'm like, this is trying to be real. But it's not real, but it's pretending to be real, and it's not noting that. And it's emotionally manipulative, and that's okay. A lot, as you said, a lot of things are emotionally manipulative, but it's pretending. So there's something that I'm trying to get at in the work I'm making as well, where I'm like, I don't quite know what it is yet, but I'm digging into this sense of like, what is Anna anyway? Like, what if I changed my name to Marie in the film? Like, why would that? And there's some actors who are shapeshifters, right? Some actors can just embody another being. It's amazing. That's a whole other kind of skill. But then we're always playing these versions, these sort of fragments of ourselves in different universes, and even what even is self. I don't know. I think it sort of gets a bit heady, but for me, the sort of notion of like, what are we reflecting back? And so thinking about found footage in that way, it's like we use cinema as a reflection of ourselves. Either what we don't want to be, it's a warning, or oh yes, that is what I'm like. I am that kind of a person, or and found footage is interesting in that way because there is something so raw about it. Yet it is still manipulated. So I don't know.
But I think like stepping back from even the headiest points of that, it's like what we are trying to do with a lot of our work is try to just like upend a lot of the tradition and like normal C's that have kind of like, I don't know, just become so common in the industry where, like it, Evan's heard me talk about this a lot where, for the work we're making, obviously I'm in a privileged position, but like my objective is to distribute all of it myself because, like it's not, even as somebody who wears multiple hats and still advocates for traditional distribution, like making a movie and just saying like, I'm going to get distribution from Kino Lorber. Like it doesn't, it doesn't mean the same thing it used to.
I was going to say XYZ as a kind of XYZ, but not as XYZ. XYZ.
Yeah. But, I think like
very different. Kino and XYZ.
Yeah, but the thing that's excited us about all of our work is like, I think as Anna was covering, is like just the fact that like we wanted to go out and just make stuff with our friends. We're like, the first short was an exercise. We're like, oh, we really like it. Led to another one, and then trying to really put it all out in different sort of ways, which, you know, again, has a message loaded itself. It's like, okay, we don't need to put all of our power just in saying like, I'm putting this short on Vimeo. Like we made our own a never ending loop to put How You Are Currently Being Recorded out online. If you just go to howyouarecurrentlybeingrecorded.com, you can find, you know, basically our own destination we made. And then for French lessons, it was like, well, how do we continue to like play just to play and not just try and just fall into the same formulas? So, you know, we started flyering all over New York and LA for people to take French lessons, and people have been calling and texting me and emailing. Email we set up, either in on the joke, getting the joke, or just literally trying to learn French, and then finding the short that way.
So that's very found footage. I feel like the distribution is even more found footage than the film itself.
And then for our third project, you know, like it's so early and we haven't even announced the name of it or really much about it, but you know, it's about natural wine and the apocalypse. It all takes place on a single camera, you know, for lack of better words. And yeah, I think like we're really envisioning ways that it'll be an experience, you know, and like, you know, it's something about wine. So, you know, ideally you're going to a wine tasting, you know, with the film as an example. And, you know, we really want to kind of use these projects as a way of just inspiring some different way of thinking, and movies can be made for a lot less. And it
doesn't have to be exploitative. I think, you know, that's also the other thing. It's like movies can be made for a lot less. You can make things in collaboration. Mm-hmm. Like, what is the form in which we're making things? What is professional versus fun? But all these kind of questions about, and of course they can become muddied, and people need to make a living and all of that. But I think there are ways to make things together and to try and sort of, you know, come together to make art that isn't just about trying to get a famous person in your film and trying to get to Cannes, or trying to, you know, it's like, sure, those things are great and there's that world, but that's not the only world. And why are we all trying to emulate this thing? And who is this cinema for? Yeah. Why are we making things? Like we need to just be making things. Like humans are creative. We are creative beings, and we have been sold that. We've been told that we are not. We've been told that we're not creative. And the point of Stupid Co. and the point of what we're doing, and I do a lot of film education, I do a lot of youth education. I'm like, actually, all you need to do is make stuff. Just begin. Mm-hmm. You know, as Beckett says, fail again, fail better. And there's going to be a lot of people who say,
I need to go make me something. Y'all inspiring. Y'all just inspiring people. I can just listen to you talk all day. I love that. Is there any like films or maybe in the found footage world that inspires you guys for the kind of stuff that you guys do?
Yeah. Gosh, I mean,
so much.
That's whenever people say like, what films do you like? I'm always just like, it's like, I've never seen a movie. I've never moved.
Oh goodness. Yeah. No, I get it. I just feel like, is there anything on top of your head that, like, you know, I don't know, inspired you guys to get.
There's a buddy of ours at the fest who his favorite question to ask, and I think he asks me every year, is what's your favorite movie? And I can't, it's like my mind just empties when I'm asked that question. So I get it.
I just
Russell,
say Jurassic
you know what I'm
Park.
talking about.
Jurassic
Park.
Okay.
I love
it.
So much. My favorite actual movie is Slapshot. The hockey classic.
I don't think I've seen that. Okay.
I don't think Terrell also recently got very into hockey too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Heated Rivalry. I sure did. I went to the cottage. Yes, I did. Yes. Period. Yes. Sure did. Okay, so Slapshot's a hockey movie. Okay, is that Canadian?
For the sport.
Yeah. Is it Slapshot Canadian?
It was directed. I think it's American. It was directed by George Roy Hill, who made Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and it's Paul Newman and. Yeah,
I've never seen this.
Okay.
Paul Newman. I'm going to
I've never seen this.
Wow, I'm shocked. I'm shocked you haven't seen it, Evan.
Yeah,
I love Paul Newman.
Okay.
It's definitely a comedy. It's pretty lewd. It's a good amount of like.
You said
fighting.
lube?
Lewd. Before heated rivalry.
Okay. Got you. Okay. I'm just making sure I heard you right.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite actual movie. But found footage wise, there was a lot of stuff we checked out, especially when we were prepping to make our third project, and none of it.
Cloverfield. I always thought Cloverfield was a really powerful. Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Yeah. That was like
great movie.
We showed that at
Creep, Creep, obviously.
Creep, yes.
And what is it? The Outwaters.
Oh, that was a couple times. Yep.
Shout out Robbie.
Yeah, that one was cool. Outwaters was something I looked at stylistically with our editor Saffron.
But yeah, for us it was like.
But for high,
we
as
just
an example,
the way it was meant to be. It was just kind of like the real.
Well, the big reference for how you were currently being recorded actually was The Birds.
Oh, The Birds. Yeah, that was our reference. Yeah.
Like the Hitchcock film was probably what I looked at most.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, just that kind of like heightened, almost like that kind of when she's like at the end, she's like.
Yeah.
You see it? You see it now?
Yeah.
You know what else though? That I like that because Terrell, you've seen The Birds, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that movie comes up a lot when people talk about Hitchcock because Hitchcock, his genius was just navigating the genre. And he said, I called this movie The Birds, but it's going to take a long time to get where everybody's waiting to go. So he did this thing where he would constantly have shots of birds everywhere. And he was like, this is me telling the audience they're coming. Don't worry, they're coming. And your film kind of ramps up in that same way. Wait,
for sure.
You know what? Yeah. I almost forgot. So Evan told me when he first pitched How You're Being Recorded, he said that you had that playing on a loop on a website for a while.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. It's still there. So we've updated the website from howyouarecurrentlybeingrecorded.com to howyouarecurrentlylearningfrench.com. So both of our short films play. Originally, we described it as a never-ending loop. However, the loop we are going to terminate in about like 40 million seconds. So if you go to our website, howyouarecurrentlylearningfrench.com, you can watch both How You Are Currently Being Recorded and French lessons back to back. However, the catch is you just have to wait and you land wherever you land.
Right.
And so you're watching them from wherever they're playing.
Got it.
It's like an old school, I guess, broadcast sort of situation. But each short is only 7 minutes, so it's not that long of a wait.
Yeah.
Listeners, check the description and go watch them. We'll put that link in there.
Yeah, it's funny including French lessons because originally when we watched the short, Evan was like, "Hey, I don't even know where this begins because I didn't know the proper beginning." And when we watched it, I'm like, it's so interesting to think that this would play on a loop because it's just kind of like an endless paranoia or like anxiety driven by like just existing in the modern world.
Yeah.
So I almost thought, I'm like, who is this?
I started getting a bit freaked out about getting stuck in the loop. I started getting a bit freaked out about it. I don't want to be in this loop forever.
A month after we launched it, Anna's like, we need to take the loop down. And I'm like, it's not time. We can't do it yet.
But the loop is also growing, right? Like the Big Bang, who knows if it's growing or contracting? We don't fucking know anything.
Yeah.
But the idea is that High and then French lessons and then our third film that's sort of more feature length. That's kind of its own. The whole thing is a conceptual loop, and once that's done, we've played these versions of ourselves in these films that are kind of found footage in that sphere. Then who knows what we're going to do next? I don't think we're necessarily going to do exactly the same thing. It's like that's a creative project that will be finished. And then there'll be another creative project and it might look completely different. It might not even be a film. Who knows? I think that's also what we're really interested in with Stupid Co as well. This idea that you don't just have to be one thing. Like we can be many things. You can make a film. You could like write a book. You could do a play. You could make a cool hat. You could collaborate with someone and do some clothes. And what do you want to do? Like, again, we get to live on this earth for a finite amount of time and why not have a bit more fun with it across the board? Like, we should all just be having a bit more fun and make everything
You could do a film festival too, which I don't think we've even brought up yet. OFF-VIFF that you guys do.
Yeah.
What is it?
How do you say it? OFF-VIFF? VIFF.
OFF-VIFF. Unless you're Scandinavian, the pronunciation would be OFF-VIFF.
OFF-VIFF? Oh, I like that. OFF-VIFF. What's that mean?
No, it's just us fucking around. Yeah. It's just us.
It's stupid code. Oh, we get it. Okay.
Got
it. OFF-VIFF.
OFF-VIFF. We started OFF-VIFF.
OFF-VIFF. Yeah, as part of Stupid Code, we've made these films, and then we also started throwing a few events here and there, and then one of them is called OFF-VIFF. So Anna's cousin is a great filmmaker named Aaron Shearing, and he co-directed a movie called King Baby. And King Baby played at like Rotterdam and Edinburgh and all these great, festivals internationally, but it kept finding itself rejected by all of the North American festivals. And it's kind of a two-man comedy, or it is a two-man comedy, two-man and a mannequin comedy. So that's the whole cast. And one of the characters is basically naked the whole film. And I think a lot of the US festivals, you should check it out. It's amazing.
It's a good film.
I think a lot of US festivals didn't know how to place it because it was getting this European embrace, and it just is a different art house actual, film that's
very theatrical, because Kit, Aaron's co-writer and co-director, comes from a lot of a theatre background as well. So it's a very interesting, unique piece of art, really.
But basically they found that it was rejected everywhere. Aaron is from Vancouver, and we're like, we can't
he got rejected from VIFF.
And the film didn't get into VIFF, and he was bummed out about it. And he was like, man, let's just throw off VIFF. And we were like, it's such a good name. We have to do it. But how do we do it in kind of the same way we've been talking about everything else, which is like, we make it rooted out of, community and like a place of goodwill. And,
yes, and it doesn't need to be a kind of fuck you. It's a yes, and it's like, there's actually more space. There's more space for everyone. It doesn't need to be so kind of, cutthroat. So that's where OFF-VIFF came from. It was a kind of opportunity to show his work, because obviously he really wanted to share his work with his community in Vancouver, which is fair enough. And then we did that first year, and it went so well that we decided to do it the second year, and we brought more films and again trying to sort of showcase work that isn't being showcased, because a lot of the bigger festivals will kind of have the same films kind of going around and playing films, which again, great, it's important for those films to be seen, but we were like, what about the films that don't get picked up or don't get seen and don't end up on that sort of like lucky train? There's so many great, that doesn't mean they're not good. It means often there's really interesting work, and it just doesn't fit in the same way.
A less spiteful slam dance a little bit.
I mean, for us, it's just another way of having fun, really. It's like we throw another party, and support, I'm not from Vancouver, but Anna's dad is from Vancouver, Aaron is from Vancouver. We've been like really
secretly Canadian.
Anna's also Canadian, yeah.
So been lucky sexy enough. Hockey as well, I'm down.
And like the Rio Theater, who we partner with in Vancouver, has been really supportive and wanting to be a part of growing it. And they also work with VIFF, and we're friendly with VIFF too. And I work with them a lot as a distributor. But it was like, well, why don't we just do something that's fun? The second year was, came back because the first year went so well. So it was like, we can't just like change the mission. It has to be find another Vancouver made film that we profile. So we found this amazing movie called James, which is a hoser noir comedy about this East Vancouver nihilist who gets his bicycle stolen and then has to kind of go on like a redemption mission to find it. And I was just like appalled that this movie had not premiered in Canada yet. It's like the most Canadian film I've seen, other than like the work of like Matt Johnson.
Recently.
No, it's
not this film.
It was mine. You took it from me.
Okay.
Double feature.
I was going to ask, I'm like, is this the one?
That's it. Yeah. It's kind of like Bicycle Thieves meets Trailer
Park Big Adventure. That's immediately what I thought of when you said he's going on a bicycle quest was Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I mean, that too, for sure. Yeah.
Oh my God, Evan.
So anyway, OFF-VIFF came back a second year. Last year went really sick, and it'll come back for a third year this year.
And King Baby will play again.
And every year we do screen King Baby there.
We're hoping that it will become at one point a cult classic. That's the plan, you know?
What is Scream Kill Baby? What is that about?
King Baby.
King Baby.
Oh, just King Baby. Okay,
that's the one I pulled up a minute ago with the bunnies. With the bunny that you're like, is that a bunny? It's that one.
Is it like a fantasy or something? Like he goes into Narnia? What is that? Because it was like a bunny in like a field.
It's definitely a
Sell
fantasy.
it to me. Oh, okay.
Two men disillusioned with their contemporary lives decide to leave society and just live together in an isolated castle.
Okay.
It's impossible
and
to.
when the king gets bored, he orders his servant to make a wooden mannequin queen for him, and that disarray ensues.
And the king is the naked one.
They both. It's a.
They flip.
I'm just.
Charles trying to figure out how much screen time is Dom being hung.
I'm just asking. Okay.
Yeah, there is frontal nudity. If that's what you're wondering.
No, I just wanted to know what it was about. Like the King Baby. I don't know. What is it? A baby? Is it not? I don't know. Anyways.
Well, they both are.
You seem intrigued. I recommend you watch the movie.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
You'll remember it as
man. Y'all are so interesting. So
very.
I'm sorry. I'm spending a lot of this time and I'm listening. I'm the one that like hounds people. I'm like, you got to pay attention. But there's so much here. You do a film fest. You're a filmmaking duo. You have Stupid Co, which is already like kind of a lot to take in. And then Kyle, you work. Are you head of distribution at Utopia?
Yeah, I've been with Utopia for almost 7 years now.
How? Now, we're in a group, like a large extended family that goes, to a couple different countries of people who like to digest a lot of film and like, dabble in making them. And a lot of our friends now through the film fest are filmmakers.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody in that group that is actually with a distribution company that's cool like Utopia, where it's kind of like they do the thing that we all love, the highbrow, like serious filmmaking with like a not so serious subject matter all the time. But like it comes back and forth, right?
Yeah.
How do you I'm trying to think of like a polite way to say this, but how do you not fend off all of your friends constantly from being like, dude, I can't just put out like, right now we have Evan.
Yeah.
It was like, I've got a movie coming out, friend. And it's like, does Anna do that? Like, hey, I got cast in a movie. Like,
that's probably Kyle's life. Hey, homie, I've got this movie I'm finished with.
Yeah, like it's already, when you have filmmaker friends, they already do that. But like you actually have an outlet. So it's like.
Well, I guess I'm really lucky. I tried to like, so every now and then you get to work with a friend via a label. With Utopia, it's happened probably a few times, but like when Utopia launched, we also launched another company called Circle Collective, and that was always to provide a separate avenue for distribution, because even though I've always been like working in traditional distribution, like some of my early mentorship and experiences were also with kind of non-traditional companies and like startups and folks working in the self-distribution space. So I don't know. I mean, this is an answer and a non-answer, but I'm always trying to like do what I can to support everybody reaching out, interested in distribution, because a lot of people do reach out. I can't always like do the hookup for everybody, but because of that is also extended into a separate branch of Stupid Co.
Yeah.
Which is, I started hosting something called Stupid Chats, and and Evan went to one last month. Or
Yeah.
I bet he did.
I did. I told Russell about it after.
He be stalking people.
No, but Stupid Chats is all about, again, sort of, we were talking about trying to make things accessible, so a low fee to kind of come and take part, to create community so that people can get together and talk about how to get films out there, because that's one of the things. It's like distribution is such a sort of secretive space in cinema.
Yeah.
And I really admire, Carl's always explaining, sitting down, trying to tell people like how it works. And I think also just reminding people that, like, I read something, I think it was somebody who came to Stupid Chats, but it's like, as independent filmmakers, we make stuff. We're like, we don't take no for an answer. We get out there, we make the thing, we edit the thing, we find the money. And then all of a sudden we get to distribution. We're like, please, somebody help me. Help me.
Yeah,
so
it's kinda
fucking
like,
true.
It's like that. And it's like, it's really weird. We give all our power away the minute we've made the thing.
And part of the reality is, like, I tell this to filmmakers all the time, like, sometimes the most successfully distributed films are the ones where the filmmakers are the most collaborative and bring a lot more into that process. But also there's the reality on the flip side, which is like, like distributors sometimes are paying for the marketing, right? And it's like filmmakers don't always have what's called the P&A, the publicity and advertising spend on their own to run these massive campaigns. Like Evan and I were talking about the film It Doesn't Get Any Better Than This recently, which I know you guys are familiar with.
Yeah.
And that was so impressive to me because they just took it on their own 100 theater or 100 event tour. And then Nick, who I had spoken to briefly, was like, I don't know if we can do that again next time.
It's intense.
Or to some extent or something along those lines is maybe what he said, but because it's so much work, it really is.
Shout out to Nick and Rachel, former guest on here. And Nick aligns with y'all perfectly.
Yeah.
He's a dude who's very learned and makes very serious documentary in the past, and then came and put out a movie and was like, you know what? You can't watch it unless it's in a theater. And he kind of caught lightning in a jar and a lot of hate for it too. We've worked with them in the past, and some people are just like, if you create this like false scarcity, then I will be your enemy forever because I can't watch it.
Well, and shout out to them for the risks they took too, because a lot of those, I mean, I know for sure at least one of those 100 event screenings I went to that was at an apartment in Oakland. Nice. They got completely burned. Like they lost money on that for sure. Like
Evan, I'm sure everybody here thought the risks you were talking about were like financial or production.
Well, that's exactly what I mean.
Literally
financial,
going to a stranger's house.
Well, but I mean that was a several $100 trip once you add it all up. Like because they Ubered there and back, and like then they also brought all this merch that they sold like none of. They only like 2 people had turned up at the apartment for like it was fucked. So it was like a loss,
It's like being a touring musician and being a touring musician who also doesn't want to put their stuff on Spotify, which is also fair enough. Like, it's again,
I think there's that's something we're thinking a lot about as well. Like, but how are you defining things? And, without like us committing to like anything around that, like, I think there is a level of scarcity that's important. Like if you're like, it's never going online, then I can understand people getting upset to some respect. But I also think we're at this
point. And by online, you mean streamers, not just like YouTube, which I'm sure is poison to a distribution company.
Anywhere online, because like the reality is like for most independent films, like there aren't a lot of streamers out there. Like, like there's 2 streamers, Mubi and Criterion, that buy art house independent films. And if your film doesn't premiere in Cannes or a top festival, the chances of you getting a deal on those platforms is very limited. And then the chance of those platforms even paying you something that's, going to help create a livelihood is less. So I think we need to reinterpret, like this is a very massive example, but like, there was just a few, I mean, the creator space encroaching upon or intersecting with the film space has been happening for many years now. But like, we're at an interesting moment right now where there was just a creator / filmmaker who announced he's self-distributing his film on 2,500 screens. And then, like there's all these other creators, like a group called.
Who are you talking about? Is that Markiplier?
That Markiplier? Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But
Iron Lung.
Massive audience. Yeah. The film's Iron Lung. And then you also look at like Mr. Beast as another example who got so successful on YouTube that now Mr. Beast advertises his own products in front of his shows because he reached a cap of how much he could make on YouTube unless he was selling his own products there. So all of these platforms are just tools. They're an ends to a means, I guess.
Means to an end.
A means to an end. A means to an end. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just about what the platform is that you're using. And unfortunately, this is one of the big things I've learned in distribution for 12 years now, especially at an art house level. You could put your film, you have the biggest release that you've done in years. You're like, man, we got to 500 screens, 800 screens. You still go on Twitter and there'll be somebody who says, man, fuck these guys. It's not playing in the city. So whatever you do, somebody's going to be upset is the reality. I've learned distributing so many films that sometimes just playing into that, actually, without hurting anybody can, help create more awareness. I worked on campaigns like The Little Hours, Lords of Chaos, that were really divisive and created a little bit of controversy, I guess you could say. We've had a couple of projects at Utopia that have done that. And I don't know, I just feel like I would rather have people talking about the film than not talking about it. And, everybody, I think it's just the commitment to the bit. I respect Nick and Rachel for, holding to that bit and not caving.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know, the conception of scarcity, again, I don't even know if it even is scarcity actually, because sometimes it's just that you don't have them, the big film releases like Marvel stuff, they have so much money. So it's not even about, it's just literally they have so much money and they can put it in any of those spaces. And so all of a sudden it just is there. Whereas it's not necessarily scarcity to be we're only screening it in cinemas. It's it's a stylistic choice of distribution on some level.
I think it's kind of like monetizing FOMO. I've learned, so when we did of 24 Hour 25, we put out a survey after, and I really just wanted honest opinions and critiques. And the thing with our 24 Hour Film Fest is that it runs all weekend. There's no breaks, and we're kind of emulating a faux TV channel style of curation.
Cool.
So it's kind of getting back to you're on the movies time. And a lot of it's meant to be missed. You pop in, watch what you can, hang out with people in Discord, leave, or come back or stay up all night and have a slumber party. And the number one critique we got in the survey was that we always do a little thing where it's never 24 hours. It's always longer. So this last year was 36 hours, right?
Yeah.
And to us, we're well, we're delivering more product. And you're not, we're not charging you for it. Honestly, it's just a longer party. Everybody was cut it down. And everybody was mad. Again, not so everybody, but a majority of people, because they couldn't watch it all. And I'm that's not really the point.
Yeah.
But there's a FOMO thing. So I understand why people would be you're making your movie unavailable so that it's just torment for me. Yeah. And that I will go out of my way. And it's no, it's not about you, but it's a thing.
Well, yeah, Nick's thing, because I asked him initially when I'd first met him, what was the idea behind doing this? And he's because every other movie we've made, we've put on the internet for free and nobody fucking watched it.
Nobody watched it.
He's
That's what I was going to say is, so once you put your film on digital, it's pirated everywhere.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing you can do about it. It's on every single Plex server and wherever else, films get pirated, and you can pay for anti-piracy protection, try to take it down, but it's playing whack-a-mole and it will just end up being there again. Werner Herzog has an amazing quote that I always come back to, and this was 8 years ago. And he said piracy is the greatest form of distribution. So
I've heard that echoed from filmmakers too.
It's true though. So, we're at the point now where the only way to actually find some films is because of piracy.
Yeah.
So like piracy is literally, the evil has become like good in that respect, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think holding a film back from digital isn't just about like what an individual's feelings. It's actually like protecting artists right now. And like I think that's like it creates the interest because it's not necessarily about FOMO, but it's about, this is protecting me and something that I own, instead of just it essentially being stolen. And I think like filmmakers need to really wrangle with what digital means today, the same way musicians have. Like, most musicians are not finding their work bought on digital platforms. It is available for free on Spotify. So that's the challenge that film has, because a lot of audiences for film have gotten accustomed to this idea of like, well, I have Netflix, so these movies are free right now. So the
Netflix expensive.
I don't subscribe to Netflix right now just because I just end up scrolling forever and don't end up watching anything. So for me personally,
that's part of it too, is just the lack of curation at all on Netflix. It's just fucking hundreds of movies and there's poor curation. It's all algorithmic and it's just like, I don't know, there's no.
Which is why we do our virtual fest that way.
Exactly.
Just so you don't waste your time looking at posters. You just pop in there and watch what's on.
I think that's,
I love that.
I love that.
I love that. Yeah. It's like being a kid and coming downstairs and watching what your parents are watching, whatever it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
There you go.
But you have a community online. So, okay, I would be amiss. I know a lot of the people listening to the show, they're all filmmakers. So, Kyle, is there any advice you can give to people to help them make their movie more appealing to a distribution company? Like, I almost feel like there's a pull that it's not just your movie anymore. Like, you as a filmmaker are a brand in its own. So if you come, like, say with the Markiplier, like, he might make hot garbage, but people know there's a lot, there's a big audience that's already like locked in.
Yeah.
So how important is that? And any advice you could give?
Yeah. One thing I always say is like, you have to think about the narrative beyond the narrative. So it's like, what is the story, not just of the film, but the story of your life of making the film? Like why, why should an audience, like, and this isn't like meant to come across as negative, but why should an audience care when they are getting slapped over the head with studio ads every single day to watch the biggest movies, quote unquote, in the world? And then there's also, 20 other movies that open that same week. So it's like, what, you really have to think about like, who audiences are. And that's a complicated statement because you can't necessarily just make something intending it to be for other people, right? Like that like defies, I guess, artistry to some degree. You need to make something that you believe in as well. But then as soon as you're making it or have made it, you need to think about like, who does this appeal to? How do I connect with those people? How do I speak with those people? And not just be thinking like it's a distributor's job to do it for me. Like something I also say a lot is that distribution is filmmaking. I think we've been taught collectively that that's not true because it puts more power in the industry's hands to say, you need us to distribute your film. I think at like a very massive example, and this is obviously in, the highest of privilege of examples, but like you look at why people were so upset with like Francis Coppola putting Megalopolis out, essentially himself. It's like, oh, well, he just like doesn't really need us. He can just like hire a distributor to do it for him. And it's kind of an affront to, I think, like some of these bigger studios who, like I think now have to reckon with that. Like that, there was a conversation around Sinners with Ryan Coogler getting an unprecedented deal, I think from Warner Brothers. Right. And I think that's them realizing like, oh fuck, like we need to like really think about how we incentivize like the top filmmakers to stay with us right now. So I think, Markiplier is going to be a really interesting story to follow. filmmakers should look up Creator Camp, who I've been seeing little bits about. They popped into my LinkedIn feed and I was like, this seems really interesting. But I think filmmakers coming from the YouTube world as well. I really like what's happening on Substack right now with what they're calling the non-D movement, so non-dependent. And there's a lot of like these filmmakers and, you know, industry on Substack call themselves Film Stack.
What? I had no idea about this.
Yeah, you can find Stupid Co on Substack as well. But yeah, there's some cool conversation happening there about filmmakers, you know, rethinking, you know, things right now. And I think there's been a lot of, you know, a few success stories, like, you know, Hundreds of Beavers was the massive success story from last year.
Yeah.
That everybody's heard about now. But I think, you know, whether, you know, people are tired of hearing that title or not, like it was a really good, fresh wake up for some filmmakers. And, you know, that stuff's been happening, you know, for years. It's just like, we don't always talk about it. Like there's one of my favorite film experiences in the last couple of years was a movie called Eno by Gary Hustwit. And that's, I mean, in a way, I don't know, you can maybe argue it's found footage to some degree. Like it's the documentary never screens the same way twice. And Gary has self-distributed his work for years, you know, and has just thought about cultivating his own brand. And, you know, I think he's a really fascinating filmmaker to look into.
What the heck? Oh, I thought I knew what Eno was, but I'm looking at it and I have no idea. Is that another like only in person kind of screening?
Well, he put it online for a limited amount of time, but it's complicated to put the movie online because it's I forget the exact language he uses to describe it. If you can, I don't know if you can remember.
I can't remember, but it's like the algorithm changes basically. It creates a new structure each time. Like there's different parts of it that sort of will restructure, and so each screening is different. So it's a kind of, it plays with this concept of like documenting and sort of not necessarily him being in full control of the disseminate of how it sort of.
Yeah, there's stuff he shot. There's like hours of archival footage from Brian Eno and, you know, his like whatever his general archives. So basically he has a system that's outputting new DCP files for every single screening, essentially. So it never has
Weird.
screened twice.
That's so cool. That's a crazy idea.
My gut reaction is like, that's not a film, that's software. But I would love, I mean, it sounds very Bay Area. Like that would play out here and crush.
It was really, yeah, I really recommend it.
It was really inspiring too, because Brian Eno's work is so interesting. And, you know, like I hadn't really ever listened to him talk. But yeah, Gary has a lot of interesting stuff to say as well. And yeah, it's just, you know, I think like that sort of stuff is what, outside of even traditional distribution, like that's the stuff that really inspires me the most, is like, what are filmmakers like this doing? A few years ago, there was a film called 32 Sounds.
Oh, that was great.
That Anna and I went to go see in LA, and they were doing, I mean, it is the integration of like music and cinema. It's basically live cinema. So, you know, talking about like what can and cannot be put online, like 32 Sounds was a true experience that like you have to go to a theater to really like have that experience the way the filmmaker is intending. I'm sure there's a version of that movie you could maybe watch online, but when you saw it in a real space, like everybody was given specific headphones.
It's really amazing.
You know, there's somebody on stage speaking at the same time.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool, really interesting site specific, I guess, sort of thing.
That reminds me of Interaction. That's such a tangent, but like, yeah.
You should watch that movie, Kyle, if you haven't seen it.
Interaction.
With Susie Block in it. It's the same. I forget the director's name. It's the same director as Entrance. From,
Okay, sick.
I forget when that was. 2012
It's this one.
or something.
Nice. Okay.
If you're a fan of like Michael Haneke, kind of like, why did I watch this? But why do I feel moved by it? I highly recommend it.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
We'll check that
yeah,
out.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, man, y'all are so interesting. It's almost a disservice that we only have an hour with you, but please, you have to let us see your new movie when you're done.
For
the
sure.
feature.
Right. Yeah.
And
We're close. We've been doing it for no money, so it's a slow process, as we all know when you're making things. But we're getting there.
and y'all are in Canada?
I am Canadian. I'm all over the place. We're kind of all over the place. I haven't been in one place for a couple of years. We're currently in New Mexico.
Yeah. Currently,
Oh.
Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
We love New Mexico.
Down there
Oh,
in
New
our blood
Mexico.
country.
Got
Yeah.
you. All right. So before y'all go, though, make sure do you guys have any like websites or socials that you guys want to plug so people can get updates on what you guys got going on. Yeah, plug all those.
Amazing. Yeah. So you can find us across all social at Stupid Co Biz.
Okay.
One word. And then our website is stupidco.biz.
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
We'll put all these links in the descriptions too. I'll throw the Substack in there. We'll put the Hi, You Are Currently Learning French in there. We'll get it all in there.
Thank you.
But yeah,
Yeah,
no, thank
perfect.
you guys for coming on, dude. This was great. I'm
Thanks for
glad
having
you.
us.
Pleasure.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank y'all.
For anybody not familiar with Utopia, I want to just like rattle off some titles. Are We Good? In Our Blood, Hot Spring Shark Attack. Like
Yeah.
they're very oscilloscope, kind of like that highbrow, lowbrow that I know our audience in particular loves. So check that out. And the Stupid Co thing, how do we get involved with that? Like the live chats. How often do you do
Stupid
those?
chats.
We're
Chats.
doing Stupid Chats once a month. The next one is on February 10th, and there's still a handful of slots available. So each month we're updating our website, stupidco.biz, with the latest sign up link for Stupid Chats. So yeah, just if you check our website or on social, we'll post about those coming up. But it's usually
First come, first serve. So.
first come, first serve. First or second Tuesday of the month has been what we've been working on right now.
Rad. Yeah, we may have to go to those. I know Evan went. He was being very voyeuristic. I'll tell you about it later.
We love a
I
laugh.
believe it.
I'm curious what the
Yeah,
fuck he even means by this.
Oh, I get what he means. But anyways, thank y'all so much for joining us and our crazy asses. I'm excited to see this next feature. And yeah. All right.
Thanks for having
Hopefully
us.
we're gonna have y'all back next time when all that,
Can't
comes
wait.
to.
Truly.
Yeah.
Have a
thank you
lovely
guys.
weekend.
Yep. Think this is
Yep.
it for this footage foreplay. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for listening to Footage Foreplay. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review, sharing it with a friend, or simply hitting like. These small gestures are a great free way to support this mayhem, and if you find some footage we should be fondling, email us at footageforeplay@gmail.com. Check back every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes, and remember, don't skip the foreplay.